Success and Growth, a Transformative Journey of Personal Empowerment. Introduction. In a quiet moment of reflection, you might ask yourself, what does success truly mean to me and how can I grow to achieve it? Success and growth are deeply intertwined, two sides of a personal journey that unfolds over a lifetime. We often think of success as reaching a destination or attaining a goal, while growth is the personal development we undergo along the way. In reality, success isn't just a trophy to hold at the finish line, it's the cumulative result of continuous growth, learning, and perseverance. Many great minds have explored this journey. Early 20th century author Napoleon Hill sought to distill the secrets of achievement by studying hundreds of successful individuals, revealing principles like definiteness of purpose and the power of belief. Psychologist Carl Jung peered inward, teaching us that true growth comes from understanding ourselves deeply, confronting our inner shadows, and becoming more whole. And legendary mentor Jim Rohn often reminded us that success is something you attract by the person you become. Each of these thought leaders, in their own way, illuminates different facets of success and personal transformation. This paper will blend timeless wisdom from those thought leaders with fresh, original insights, guiding you through a transformative journey of understanding and personal empowerment. The tone is instructional and grounded, combining motivational energy, philosophical depth, and psychological insight. Think of it as a roadmap for both your mind and spirit on the path to success. We will start by laying out the core principles that form the foundation of success and growth, those fundamental truths and values that underpin lasting achievement. From there, we'll dive into the mindset required to turn those principles into reality, exploring how our beliefs and attitudes shape our outcomes. Next, we will examine behavior and habits, translating intentions into consistent actions and daily practices that build success over time. Because outward achievement means little without inner alignment, we will venture into the realm of inner work, the deep personal growth, self-discovery, and emotional mastery that empower you from within. Finally, we will turn to external actions and the importance of engaging with the world, creating supportive environments, building positive relationships, and taking purposeful action to reach your goals. As you listen to this audiobook-style guide, imagine yourself as the hero of your own story. Every section is a new chapter in your journey toward a more successful and fulfilling life. Along the way, you'll encounter motivational encouragement to push through challenges, philosophical reflections on what truly matters, and psychological strategies to overcome inner barriers. By the end, you will not only understand key principles of success intellectually, you'll also be equipped with practical steps and a renewed mindset to apply them in your life. This is a journey of transformation, and it begins with you. No matter where you are starting from, you have the capacity to grow, to strive, and to achieve meaningful success. Let's embark on this journey together, starting with the fundamental principles that set the stage for all that follows. Core principles of success and growth. Every enduring success story is built on a strong foundation of core principles. Just as a house needs a solid base to weather storms, our lives require guiding principles that keep us steady through challenges and focused on our goals. In this section, we'll explore some of the fundamental principles that consistently underlie personal success and growth. These are the bedrock ideas, drawn from both wisdom of the ages and modern understanding, that you can return to again and again on your journey. While individuals may define success in different ways, certain key themes emerge universally. Having a clear purpose, cultivating belief in oneself, embracing continuous learning, exercising discipline and persistence, and contributing value to others. Let's delve into each of these core principles and see why they are so essential. Definiteness of purpose. Know what you want. A clear sense of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose, emphasizing that without a purpose and a plan, we tend to drift aimlessly. Take a moment to reflect on what success means for you personally, not just society's definition of success, but your own vision for a fulfilling life. It might be a career goal, a lifestyle, a creative project, or an impact you want to make in the world. When you define a compelling goal or chief aim, you give yourself a target to strive for and a reason to push through obstacles. Purpose fuels passion. It's that inner fire that motivates you to wake up with determination. With a clear purpose, even the tedious tasks or inevitable setbacks along the way become more tolerable because you know why you're doing it. So ask yourself, what do I truly want to achieve or become? The sharper your focus on a meaningful goal, the more energy and direction you'll have to reach it. Belief and positive vision. Believe in yourself and your mission. A strong belief in your ability to succeed and an optimistic vision of the future is another cornerstone of growth. This is often referred to as faith, not necessarily in a religious sense, but a deep trust in your own potential and in the value of your goal. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." This isn't magical thinking, it's about aligning your subconscious and conscious mind toward your objective. When you truly believe you can do something, you prime your mind to notice opportunities and persevere when difficulties arise. Positive mental attitude, a term Hill popularized, means expecting good outcomes and finding the lessons in setbacks. Likewise, Jim Rohn emphasized the power of mindset by saying, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." Believing in yourself doesn't mean arrogance or blind certainty. It means having a quiet confidence that you can learn, adapt, and figure things out. This principle encourages you to cultivate self-confidence and to visualize success. Athletes, performers, and leaders often use visualization techniques, seeing in their mind's eye the victory or positive outcome. By maintaining a positive vision, you keep yourself motivated and resilient, which dramatically increases your chances of actual success. Continuous learning and curiosity. Keep growing your knowledge and skills. Another core principle is recognizing that growth is continuous. Success is not a static destination, it's a moving target that evolves as you do. To achieve and maintain success, you must be committed to lifelong learning. This principle has been echoed by countless philosophers and modern experts alike. Jim Rohn put it simply, "Formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune." Whether or not monetary fortune is your aim, the point is that continuously educating yourself through books, mentors, courses, or just life experience is crucial. Embrace a mindset of curiosity. Be willing to admit what you don't know and eager to fill the gaps. Each day is an opportunity to learn something new, to refine your skills, and to gain insight. This growth mindset, a term popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, means believing that your abilities are not fixed. You can improve them with effort and time. When you adopt this principle, challenges become lessons rather than roadblocks, and failures become feedback on the path of growth. In practical terms, make it a habit to invest in yourself. Read uplifting and informative books, learn from people who inspire you, and even learn from those who challenge you. The more knowledge and skills you accumulate, the more resources you have to draw on in your pursuit of success. Discipline and persistence. Be willing to work hard and stay the course. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your accomplishments. It's doing what needs to be done, even on days you don't feel like it. One of Jim Rohn's famous maxims states, "We must all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret." The pain of discipline is the effort and sacrifice required now. The pain of regret is what we feel later if we give up on our aspirations. Cultivating discipline means developing habits that keep you moving forward consistently. This goes hand in hand with persistence, the ability to keep going in the face of difficulties. Almost every success story includes moments of adversity. Inventor Thomas Edison famously failed hundreds of times before perfecting the light bulb, yet he remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Persistence is powered by a never-give-up attitude, guided by wisdom. It doesn't mean you never change your approach, but that you don't quit your overall pursuit just because it's harder than expected. In embracing discipline and persistence, you build character. You train yourself to manage time, to keep promises to yourself, and to remain focused on long-term gains over short-term pleasures. This core principle ensures that even if progress is slow, you're always moving towards success rather than drifting away from it. Integrity and service. Succeed by adding value to others. True success is not achieved in isolation or by cutting corners. It's built through integrity and often by serving a cause greater than oneself. This principle may be phrased in different ways by different thinkers. Napoleon Hill noted that happiness and success thrive on the spirit of service rendered in a spirit of love. Jim Rohn frequently advised, "Give people more than they expect and do it cheerfully." At its core, this principle is about character and contribution. Integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is watching, keeping your word, being honest, and treating others with respect. When you live with integrity, you build trust, which is the currency of lasting relationships and reputations. Service means you focus not just on what you can get, but on what you can give. Ironically, by concentrating on helping others, you often end up elevating yourself as well. A business succeeds by solving customers' problems and delivering value. An individual gains influence by uplifting, mentoring, or supporting those around them. When you aim to create value, whether through your work, your art, or your daily interactions, success becomes a byproduct of the goodwill and impact you generate. This principle reminds us that growth is not purely self-centered. It's also about growing in our empathy, kindness, and positive influence in the world. These core principles, purpose, belief, learning, discipline, and service, form a powerful foundation. They are mutually reinforcing. Having a clear purpose fuels your persistence. A mindset of belief makes you more eager to learn and take disciplined action. Acting with integrity and service gives deeper meaning to your purpose. As you reflect on these ideas, consider how they appear in your own life. Are there principles you've neglected or could strengthen? Remember, principles are only impactful when put into practice. In the next sections, we'll transition from these foundational values to the practical dimensions of mindset and behavior. Together, these will show how to live out the core principles day by day. Before moving on, take a mental snapshot of these fundamentals. Success leaves clues, and these principles are some of the clearest clues left by those who have achieved extraordinary growth. They are simple but not always easy, much like the idea of success itself. With the groundwork laid, let's explore how to cultivate the right mindset to support your journey, because everything truly begins in the mind. Mindset, the inner foundation of success. If core principles are the foundation of success, then mindset is the soil in which those principles take root and flourish. Mindset is about how we think, our attitudes, beliefs, and the internal narratives that shape our perception of the world. It is truly the inner foundation of all growth. As the old saying goes, you become what you think about. Long before any achievement materializes, it is first nurtured in the mind. In this section, we'll explore the components of a success-oriented mindset, including cultivating a positive and resilient outlook, developing self-belief, embracing a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, and reframing failures and challenges as opportunities. By understanding and training your mind, you empower yourself to handle whatever comes on the journey to success. The power of attitude. One of the most crucial aspects of mindset is your overall attitude, whether you view life through a lens of optimism or pessimism, opportunity or obstacle. A famous insight often attributed to Jim Rohn and others is that it's not what happens to you that determines your destiny, it's how you react to what happens. In other words, life will throw challenges your way, economic downturns, personal setbacks, unexpected crises. Two people can face the same event and respond very differently. One is crushed by it, while the other finds a way to adapt and even benefit. The difference lies in mindset. Cultivating a positive attitude doesn't mean wearing rose-colored glasses or denying reality. It means deliberately choosing a perspective that empowers you rather than paralyzes you. For example, instead of thinking, "I can't do this, it's too hard," a success-oriented mindset asks, "This is hard, but what can I learn from this? How can I do this?" It shifts from problem focus to solution focus. This doesn't happen automatically. It's a habit of thought to be developed. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue, especially in tough situations. Are your thoughts encouraging or defeating you? You have the ability to question and change those thoughts. As psychologist William James said, "The greatest discovery of any generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes." Choose an attitude that works for you, not against you. Belief in yourself. Earlier, we highlighted belief as a core principle. Here we focus specifically on self-belief as a mindset. Self-belief is the conviction that you have what it takes to achieve your goals, or that you can develop what it takes. This doesn't mean thinking you're perfect or invincible. In fact, genuine self-belief coexists with an awareness of one's flaws and areas for improvement. It's more like an inner voice that says, "I trust myself to figure things out, I can handle this." Carl Jung noted that people often have an inner critic or negative shadow voice that instills doubt and fear. Part of inner work, which we'll discuss later, is to transform that inner critic into an inner coach. But even before delving into deep psychology, you can start strengthening self-belief through simple practices. One powerful method is positive affirmation and self-talk. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself about yourself. When you catch yourself saying or thinking, "I always mess up," or "I'm not good at this," challenge those statements. They are not facts, merely beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. Replace them with constructive ones. "I'm learning to improve," or "I have strengths that I can rely on." Remember Napoleon Hill's principle of autosuggestion, the idea that repeated thoughts, especially emotional ones, influence our subconscious mind. By deliberately feeding your mind encouraging messages, you gradually build an inner confidence. Another key to self-belief is recalling past successes or times you overcame challenges. Our brains tend to fixate on negatives, so make an effort to remind yourself of the positives, the skills you've built, the goals you've already achieved, the obstacles you've surmounted. Each of those is proof that you can succeed. As your belief in yourself grows, so does your capacity to take on bigger challenges without giving in to self-doubt. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Modern psychology has given us clear language to discuss one of the most important mindset shifts for success, moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. In a fixed mindset, people believe their talents, intelligence, or abilities are static traits. "I'm either good at this or I'm not." They tend to avoid challenges for fear of looking bad, and they give up easily because failure feels like a judgment on their inherent ability. In contrast, a growth mindset is the belief that abilities can be developed through effort, good strategies, and feedback. Someone with a growth mindset welcomes challenges as opportunities to learn. Failure isn't a verdict on them, it's useful information. Consider how you approach a new or difficult task. Do you hear a voice saying, "What if I fail? That will mean I'm not capable, so maybe I shouldn't even try," or do you think I might not get it right the first time, but I can learn and improve with practice? Cultivating a growth mindset involves embracing challenges, persisting through setbacks, seeing effort as the path to mastery, learning from criticism, and finding lessons and inspiration in the success of others. This concept, championed by psychologist Carol Dweck, aligns beautifully with the teachings of our thought leaders, Jim Rohn's emphasis on constant improvement, or Napoleon Hill's idea that every adversity carries the seed of an equivalent advantage. To practice a growth mindset, start reframing your language. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good at this," add the word "yet." I'm not good at this yet. Recognize that skills are built, not born. With this mindset, any goal becomes more attainable because you see yourself as a work in progress, capable of growth, rather than a fixed entity with predetermined limits. Resilience, reframing, failure and challenges. A critical component of a success mindset is resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. Life is unpredictable, and even with the best plans, you will encounter failures or detours. The difference maker is how you interpret those events. Do you see failure as a permanent defeat or as a temporary setback? Do challenges make you throw up your hands or roll up your sleeves? The resilient mindset takes difficulties in stride. Here, Carl Jung's wisdom offers depth. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. In other words, challenges often spur growth. They make us more aware of our weaknesses and strengths. A resilient mind understands that failure is not a reflection of your worth. It's a natural part of the learning curve. Many successful people will tell you that their failures taught them far more than their successes. When something goes wrong, a resilient mindset asks, "How can I use this? What is this teaching me? How will I do things differently next time?" This approach transforms setbacks into stepping stones. One practical technique to build resilience is to practice cognitive reframing. Consciously choose a positive or constructive meaning for events. For example, if you don't get a promotion you hoped for, rather than thinking, "I'll never advance," you might reframe it as, "This is a chance to further improve my skills and come back stronger," or perhaps an opportunity to find a better fit elsewhere. Such reframing isn't about being delusional, it's about empowering yourself to move forward rather than getting stuck. Additionally, cultivating gratitude, even for small things, can bolster resilience. When you maintain an attitude of gratitude, it shifts focus from what went wrong to what is still good and what is possible. This doesn't erase problems, but it gives you a more balanced mental ground from which to tackle them. Focus and visualization. Another powerful aspect of mindset is the ability to focus your thoughts and energies toward what you want to achieve. Our minds are often scattered, jumping from worry to worry, task to task. But success requires a degree of mental focus, what Napoleon Hill called controlled attention. This means learning to direct your mind to dwell on your goals, solutions, and constructive ideas more than on fears or irrelevant distractions. One way to cultivate focus is through visualization, which is essentially guided use of your imagination. Take a few minutes regularly to imagine in detail what achieving your goal looks and feels like. See yourself succeeding. Picture the scenario, feel the emotions of pride and happiness in advance. This practice does two things. It strengthens your motivation by making the goal feel more real, and it trains your brain to recognize and seize opportunities that align with that vision. In fact, modern neuroscience has found that visualization activates similar brain regions as actually performing the action, which can enhance performance. However, visualization must be paired with action, which we'll discuss in the behavior section. It's not about daydreaming idle fantasies, it's about priming your mind for real-world effort. Alongside visualization, practice positive focus during your day. Set intentions each morning for what you want to accomplish or how you want to show up. E.g., today I will approach my tasks with enthusiasm and concentrate on the most important things. When you notice your thoughts drifting into negativity or pointless rumination, gently bring your focus back to something productive or uplifting. This mental discipline, honed over time, becomes a mindset habit that keeps you aligned with success. In cultivating a success-oriented mindset, you're essentially setting the stage for achievement in your life. Your mindset is like the operating system of your personal computer. It runs in the background and affects every application, goal or task you try to run. If the OS is corrupted with doubt, fear or negativity, everything else crashes. If it's kept updated with empowering beliefs and attitudes, you create an environment where progress comes more smoothly. It's important to remember that mindset work is never finished. Even the most positive individuals must continually tend to their attitude and beliefs, much like a garden that must be weeded and watered. Jim Rohn likened the mind to a garden. Weeds of negativity will grow automatically if you don't cultivate it with intention. So keep planting positive ideas, keep learning and adapting your thinking. With your inner foundation solidifying, we can now move to the next layer, behavior. How do we turn a great mindset and solid principles into the daily actions that lead to success? The answer lies in our habits and behaviors, which we will explore next. Behavior. Building habits and taking action. Great dreams and positive mindset set the stage, but only action brings ideas to life. This is where behavior and habits come into play. The tangible, day-to-day practices that turn intentions into reality. If mindset is the inner foundation, behavior is the outer construction of your success. Behavior here refers to your consistent actions, routines, and conduct, especially when no one is watching. It's what you actually do with your time and energy. Success is often less about one grand leap and more about the small disciplines repeated every day. In this section, we'll discuss the power of habits, how to build constructive behaviors, the importance of discipline, and strategies for taking effective action toward your goals. We'll see how aligning your behaviors with your core principles and mindset creates an unstoppable momentum on the journey of growth. The compound effect of habits. You might have heard the saying, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit, often attributed to Aristotle. The point is that habits define us in the long run. A single good decision or productive day is great, but true success comes from sustained patterns of behavior. Small actions, seemingly insignificant on their own, compound over time into significant results. This is sometimes called the compound effect. For example, reading for 20 minutes in a self-improvement book today won't transform your life overnight, but reading 20 minutes daily for a year can fundamentally expand your knowledge and mindset. Similarly, saving a small amount of money regularly can lead to financial security due to accumulation and interest, whereas a one-time big save followed by inconsistency won't have the same effect. Recognizing the power of habits means being intentional about which habits you cultivate. Identify the key habits that will move you toward your goals. If your goal is physical wellness, habits might include exercising regularly, eating nutritiously, and sleeping adequately. If your goal is career success, habits might include consistent skill development, networking each week, or setting daily priorities. Take a moment to consider, What small actions done consistently would most positively impact my progress? It could be as simple as waking up an hour earlier to work on your dream project, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for each night to foster a positive mindset. By focusing on habits, you shift from relying on occasional bursts of willpower to creating an automatic routine of success-oriented behavior. This doesn't mean you become a rigid robot of routine, but it does mean you harness the autopilot feature of your brain to work for you rather than against you. Remember, destructive habits, like procrastination, excessive social media, or unhealthy eating, also compound over time into problems. So success largely comes down to replacing unhelpful habits with beneficial ones, step by step. Discipline, doing what needs to be done. Discipline is the engine that keeps your habits running, especially on days when motivation wanes. Motivation is like a spark. It's great to get started, but it can be fickle. Discipline carries you through because it's less about how you feel in the moment and more about the commitment you've made to yourself. Jim Rohn wisely said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." Think of discipline as a form of self-love. It's giving yourself what you truly need rather than what you whimsically want right now. For instance, you might want to binge watch a show late into the night, but you need to sleep well to be productive tomorrow. Discipline is what makes you turn off the TV and go to bed. It might not feel pleasant at the moment, but it pays off by getting you closer to your desired outcome. One helpful approach is to create routines and systems that make disciplined behavior easier. If you struggle with morning exercise, lay out your workout clothes the night before and set an alarm, reduce the friction. If you want to write a book, set a small, non-negotiable daily word count for yourself rather than waiting for inspiration to strike. Another aspect of discipline is learning to delay gratification, training yourself to choose the reward of the future over the temptation of the present. This can be tough, but it's a muscle that strengthens with practice. Celebrate small wins when you stick to your discipline. Each day that you follow through on your promises to yourself, you're reinforcing a powerful identity. I am a disciplined person who can trust myself to do what's necessary. Over time, that identity becomes part of you, and what was once hard will feel more natural. Taking initiative and being proactive. A key behavior of successful individuals is proactiveness, the willingness to take initiative instead of waiting passively for things to happen. Napoleon Hill called this personal initiative, describing it as the inner power that inspires action. It's about being a doer. If you have a goal or see an opportunity, train yourself to be the one who steps forward, even if it's a bit uncomfortable. Proactive behavior could mean reaching out to someone who could mentor or advise you, asking for the raise rather than stewing in silence, or starting that business or project you've been dreaming about instead of endlessly researching it. A simple rule is the 2-minute rule. If something will take less than 2 minutes to do it now. This helps overcome procrastination on small tasks and builds a bias toward action. For larger tasks, break them down into manageable steps and take the first step as soon as possible. Being proactive also means anticipating and planning. Don't wait for crises to force your hand. Look ahead and prepare. If you know a certain skill will be valuable in your field, start learning it before it's mandatory. If you want to improve your relationships, don't wait for others to initiate contact. You be the one to make the call or plan the get-together. This kind of behavior not only moves you forward, but it builds respect from others and confidence in yourself. You start seeing yourself as the captain of your ship, not merely a passenger. It's a powerful shift. Life is happening for you, not to you, when you take initiative. Time management and prioritization. One of the most practical aspects of success behavior is how you manage your time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but how we use them makes a world of difference. Successful people aren't necessarily working more hours. Often, they're working on the right things in those hours. Start by identifying your high-value activities, the tasks that have the greatest impact on your goals. Apply the 80-20 rule, Pareto principle. Typically, 20% of your actions produce 80% of your results. Focus on that critical 20%. This requires saying no to a lot of distractions and low-value tasks. It may mean cutting down time spent on social media, mindless browsing, or activities that don't align with your core objectives. To manage time effectively, consider using tools like daily planners or digital calendars, and techniques such as time blocking, dedicating specific time slots to specific tasks, or the Pomodoro technique, working in focused bursts with short breaks. Jim Rohn used to advise, either you run the day or the day runs you. By planning and prioritizing, you take charge of your day. Also, don't forget to allocate time for rest and rejuvenation. Productivity isn't about grinding yourself to exhaustion. It's about balanced, sustainable high performance. That includes time for exercise, family, hobbies, and sleep. Think of yourself like an elite athlete. Intense work periods need to be balanced with recovery periods to maintain long-term output. Good time management is essentially good self-management. When you consistently use your time in alignment with your goals and values, you generate steady progress and reduce the stress that comes from last-minute scrambles or neglected duties. It creates a satisfying sense of control over your life's direction. Adapting and learning from feedback. Effective behavior also involves being adaptive. No plan survives first contact with reality unaltered. You must be willing to adjust your actions based on feedback and changing circumstances. This is where behavior loops back to mindset. You need that growth mindset to accept feedback constructively, whether it's feedback from other people, like a mentor's advice, customer reviews, or a friend's critique, or feedback from results, like a strategy not yielding the outcome you hoped. Use that information to refine your approach. Successful behavior is not stubbornly doing the same thing over and over if it's not working. It's persisting toward the goal, but being flexible in the method. For example, if you're trying to get in shape and your current workout routine isn't giving results, don't quit the goal of fitness. Instead, try a different exercise regimen or nutrition plan. If your business marketing isn't gaining traction, experiment with new strategies, learn from experts, or gather more data. Being adaptive also means knowing when to pivot versus when to persevere, which can be a tricky judgment call. This is where your intuition and sometimes counsel from others can help. The bottom line is, stay action-oriented but not rigid. Keep that bias for action we discussed, but steer it intelligently as you gain more knowledge of what works and what doesn't. Be a student of your own life. Treat your endeavors as experiments, where even if an action fails, you learn something valuable for your next attempt. This approach keeps you moving forward, always adjusting course toward your success, rather than hitting a wall and stopping. By focusing on behavior, your habits, discipline, proactivity, time management, and adaptability, you turn the abstract into the concrete. You begin to embody your goals through your daily actions. It's worth emphasizing that big successes are often built from countless small actions. Writing 1 page a day can produce a book in a year. Saving a few dollars a day can grow into a substantial investment. Doing one kind thing regularly can transform a relationship. No action is too insignificant to matter if it's moving you in the right direction. Conversely, be mindful that negative behaviors can also accumulate. Skipping the workout just this once habitually or repeatedly putting off important tasks can slowly erode your progress. Thankfully, positive actions also add up, and you are in control of those choices. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. With your mindset and behavior aligned, you are well on your way. But there's more to the journey. Success isn't just about what we do, it's also about who we are inside. In the next section, we'll turn inward to examine the realm of inner work, the psychological and emotional growth that fortifies and guides our external efforts. Inner work. Mastering your inner world. Achieving meaningful success isn't only a matter of outward actions and positive thinking. It also requires looking inward. Inner work is the process of understanding and improving oneself on a deeper level, addressing the psychological, emotional, and even spiritual aspects of growth. Think of it as tending to the roots that lie beneath the surface of the soil. You can have impressive branches and leaves, outward success, but if the roots, inner self, are weak or decaying, the whole tree is unstable. In this section, we will explore the importance of self-awareness, emotional mastery, values and purpose, and the concept of the shadow, as Carl Jung described our hidden or repressed aspects. We will see how confronting fears, healing inner wounds, and aligning with our authentic self are all critical to sustained success and personal fulfillment. Mastering your inner world is not a one-time task, but a lifelong journey, one that makes all the difference in the quality of your life and achievements. Self-awareness. Knowing yourself. The ancient Greek maxim, "Know thyself," remains profoundly relevant today. Self-awareness is the starting point of inner work. It means paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and understanding how they influence your life. Many of us operate on autopilot, reacting to situations out of habit or unconscious beliefs. Developing self-awareness shines a light on those inner patterns. For example, you might notice that every time you're faced with a certain kind of challenge, you feel anxiety and tend to procrastinate. Perhaps upon reflection, you realize this ties back to a fear of failure or a perfectionist streak from childhood. Once you identify that pattern, you can start to change it. Self-awareness involves honest introspection. You can cultivate it through practices like journaling, meditation, or simply taking quiet time to reflect. Jim Rohn often encouraged journaling as a tool for self-discovery. Writing down your thoughts helps clarify them and reveals things you might not notice in the rush of daily life. Ask yourself probing questions. What do I really want? Why does that goal matter to me? What am I feeling right now, and what might be causing that feeling? How do I usually respond to criticism, and why? As you peel back the layers, you gain insight into your motivations, triggers, strengths, and weaknesses. Carl Jung believed that bringing the unconscious into consciousness is key to personal growth, famously stating, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In other words, if you're not aware of what's driving you, you might feel like life is just happening to you. But with self-awareness, you regain a sense of control and choice. You can leverage your strengths more effectively and address your weaknesses or blind spots. This level of understanding yourself is empowering. It allows you to craft strategies for success that fit who you are, and it helps you avoid self-sabotage that can come from unseen inner conflicts. Emotional mastery, managing emotions and stress. Being successful in life doesn't mean you won't experience negative emotions like fear, anger, or sadness. It means you become skilled at managing those emotions so they don't derail you. Emotional mastery is not about suppression or pretending to be happy all the time. It's about emotional intelligence, recognizing what you feel, understanding it, and responding in a healthy way. For instance, fear is a common emotion on the journey to success. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. These fears can either paralyze you or propel you, depending on how you manage them. Carl Jung offered an insightful idea. Where your fear is, there is your task. Often, the thing we fear or resist the most, public speaking, changing careers, confronting a personal issue, is exactly where we need to grow. Acknowledging fear is the first step. Rather than denying or running from it, admit it to yourself. Then you can work with it. Break the feared task into smaller steps. Practice it until the fear diminishes, or seek support, chuck knowledge to feel more confident. Techniques like mindfulness or meditation can be incredibly useful in emotional mastery. By observing your emotions without immediate reaction, you create a space to choose your response. If you're angry, instead of instantly lashing out or making a rash decision, take a moment to breathe, cool down, and assess what's really bothering you and what outcome you want. This prevents temporary emotions from causing long-term harm. Managing stress is another crucial element. Success often comes with increased responsibilities and pressures. Learn what helps you relieve stress in a healthy way. It could be exercise, talking to a friend or mentor, engaging in hobbies, or relaxation techniques. Don't neglect these outlets thinking you have to power through all the time. High performance is about rhythm, stress, and recovery. An emotionally mastered person knows when to push and when to step back and recharge. Also, don't shy away from seeking professional help if needed, like counseling or coaching. Working through deep-seated emotions or trauma with a skilled professional can be transformative and free you from burdens that have been holding you back. Values and integrity, your inner compass. Inner work also involves clarifying your values, the principles and ideals that matter most to you, and ensuring that your life aligns with them. Living in harmony with your core values gives you a sense of integrity and inner peace, which is a success on its own. When your external pursuits conflict with your inner values, you'll experience stress, guilt, or a sense of emptiness, even if on the surface things seem fine. For example, if family is a core value but you're working 80-hour weeks and never seeing your family, there's a values disconnect that will likely lead to unhappiness or sabotage. Take time to define and occasionally redefine as you grow what values guide you: honesty, freedom, creativity, love, growth, security, adventure, service, etc. There are no right or wrong values, only what's authentic to you. Once you know them, use them as an inner compass for decision-making. When faced with a major choice, ask, which option aligns best with my values? This helps you stay true to yourself. Integrity, as mentioned earlier, is about being consistent with your values, doing what you say you'll do, and acting in accordance with your beliefs. It's crucial for inner harmony. A lack of integrity, even in small things like telling white lies or cutting corners when no one sees, can erode your self-respect over time. On the flip side, when you consistently live true to your values, you build self-esteem and a solid reputation. It also simplifies many decisions. You won't have to agonize if your path is clear morally and ethically. Success achieved at the cost of your values often turns out to be hollow or unsustainable. Thus, part of inner mastery is ensuring that the ladder you're climbing is leaning against the right wall, that your pursuits honor your inner compass. This might sometimes lead to tough choices like turning down a lucrative opportunity that conflicts with your principles, but in the long run, such integrity-based decisions pay enormous dividends in fulfillment and respect. Shadow work, facing your inner obstacles. One of Carl Jung's major contributions to psychology was the concept of the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we reject or hide, often because they make us uncomfortable or we fear they're unacceptable. These could be aspects like anger, jealousy, weakness, or even positive qualities that were discouraged like spontaneity or ambition. Why discuss this in the success and growth context? Because unacknowledged inner issues can become obstacles on your road to success. For instance, someone might outwardly strive for success, but inwardly feel they don't deserve it. perhaps due to a shadow belief of unworthiness rooted in childhood. That unconscious belief can lead to self-sabotage just as they are nearing their goal. Shadow work is the process of bringing these hidden parts into awareness and dealing with them constructively. It can be challenging. It requires humility and courage to admit to yourself that, say, you have a tendency to envy others' success, or that you sometimes manipulate people for approval, or that you fear intimacy, etc. But by facing these shadows, you rob them of much of their power. Jung famously said that people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. It might feel easier to avoid looking at the uncomfortable truths, but doing so keeps you stuck. On the other hand, when you face your inner obstacles, you transform them. For example, acknowledging you have a fear of failure, perhaps because as a child you were harshly criticized when you failed, allows you to work on self-compassion and to redefine failure in your mind as learning rather than a judgment of worth. Or recognizing that you have a strong need for approval from others can lead you to strengthen your self-approval and focus more on your own values than on external applause. There are many ways to do shadow work. Therapy, journaling deeply about your insecurities and dark thoughts, analyzing your dreams, Jung was big on that, or simply observing your emotional reactions. Often our strong reactions to others can hint at our own shadow. E.g., if you find yourself hating arrogance in others, there might be an unacknowledged pride or, conversely, a lack of self-confidence in you that needs attention. The goal is never to judge yourself for these aspects, but to heal and integrate them. When you integrate your shadow, those once hidden aspects can become sources of strength and authenticity. They no longer silently undermine you. Instead, you carry a fuller sense of self, which brings confidence and wholeness. A person who has done their inner work often exudes a kind of calm and authenticity. They know who they are, the light and the dark, and this self-knowledge itself is a form of success. Finding meaning and purpose. Another layer of inner work is connecting with a sense of meaning. Success, in the end, is deeply personal. True success could be defined as living a life that is meaningful to you. Psychologist Carl Jung and others like Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist who wrote about man's search for meaning, recognized that humans have a fundamental need for meaning. This goes beyond just setting goals. It's about feeling that what you do and who you are actually matters in the grand scheme of things, or at least in your own life narrative. Cultivating meaning might involve spiritual exploration for some, or creative expression for others, or service to a cause greater than oneself. Ask yourself, why do I want the success I seek? What will it give me, and how will it contribute to my life or others' lives? If, for example, your goal is to build a successful business, the meaning might be in the innovation you bring to customers, or the freedom it gives you and your family, or the jobs it creates in your community. If your goal is to become an artist, the meaning might be in the beauty or message you contribute to the world. When you connect your pursuits to a purpose that resonates in your heart, you gain a powerful source of motivation and resilience. Work becomes more like a mission. On tough days, it's easier to persevere because you remember why you're doing it. Without a sense of meaning, even achieved goals can feel empty. You might climb a mountain only to realize it didn't satisfy you because it wasn't the right mountain. Inner work around meaning can prevent that scenario. It encourages you to pursue goals that align with your deeper values, as discussed, and with a sense of purpose. And note that meaning doesn't always come from grand things. It can come from small daily acts of living according to what matters to you, raising your children well, being a loyal friend, creating something with love. In an audiobook, Blending Success Principles, it's vital to stress that outer success without inner fulfillment is a hollow victory. So take the time to define what fulfillment looks like for you. That clarity will guide both your internal and external journey. Mastering your inner world is an ongoing process. It involves continuous self-reflection, learning, and sometimes unlearning. As you grow and reach new levels of success, new inner challenges may arise, and you'll have the tools to meet them. The beauty of inner work is that it not only aids in achieving external success, it also enriches your day-to-day experience. You develop a stronger sense of peace, confidence, and authenticity. You become a person who is not just doing well, but being well. This strong inner foundation supports everything else, with self-awareness, emotional intelligence, clear values, integrated shadows, and a sense of purpose. You become virtually unstoppable in the face of life's challenges. Now, armed with inner strength and clarity, let's turn to how we engage with the external world to create success. After all, our growth truly blossoms when we translate it into how we live, work, and contribute in the world around us. External actions, thriving in your environment. No matter how strong your mindset or how deep your inner work, success ultimately manifests through actions in the external world. This final core section bridges the gap between your inner development and outer achievements. Here we focus on external actions, how you navigate your environment, the people you interact with, and the practical steps you take to reach your goals. Thriving in your environment involves leveraging your surroundings and relationships to support your growth, as well as making strategic moves in your career or endeavors. We will discuss the power of environment and social circles, the value of mentorship and teamwork, effective goal setting and execution, and contributing value to the world. Think of this as the amplifier of everything we've covered. With solid principles, a winning mindset, good habits, and inner mastery, your external actions can create a ripple effect of success, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Shaping your environment for success. One of the first things to recognize is that environment matters. We like to think of ourselves as independent, but the truth is our surroundings heavily influence our behavior and mindset. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This extends beyond people to encompass the information you consume, the workspace you inhabit, and the culture of the organization or community you're in. To thrive, it's crucial to create or seek out environments that reinforce your goals and values. Start with your social circle. Do the people closest to you inspire you, believe in you, and challenge you to be better? Or do they doubt, criticize, or even unconsciously sabotage your growth? Sometimes, tough decisions are needed to limit time with consistently negative influences and intentionally find more positive associations. People who are proactive, encouraging, and perhaps further along the path you aspire to travel. This is where the concept of a mastermind alliance from Napoleon Hill comes into play. Surround yourself with a group of peers or mentors who share your vision or can contribute to it. When minds come together in harmony toward a goal, everyone in the group is lifted. Practically, this could mean joining a professional association, a community group, or even an online forum where growth-oriented individuals gather. It could mean finding an accountability partner who keeps you on track with your habits. Beyond people, consider your physical and digital environment. Is your workspace cluttered and distracting, or does it energize you? Something as simple as organizing your desk or creating a dedicated, inspiring corner for your work or study can boost your focus. In the digital realm, curating your inputs is key. What you read, watch, and listen to regularly. Fill your feeds with educational, motivating content rather than doom and gloom news or mindless entertainment. It's fine to have some fun, but be mindful of the balance. Essentially, set yourself up so that making the right choices is easier. For instance, if you're trying to eat healthy, stock your kitchen with healthy foods and remove the junk food from arm's reach. If you want to practice guitar more, Leave the guitar on a stand in the middle of your room rather than tucked away in a closet. Structure your environment so that it nudges you toward the behaviors you desire and minimizes temptations that distract from your purpose. When you engineer your surroundings for success, you're not constantly swimming upstream. The current of your environment actually helps carry you forward. Networking, mentorship, and teamwork. Success does not happen in isolation. Networking, building genuine relationships with others, is an external action that can open doors and accelerate growth. When we say networking, it doesn't mean superficial schmoozing or using people. It means taking opportunities to connect with others, learn about them, and find ways to mutually benefit. Many opportunities in life come through people. A friend knows of a job opening, a colleague recommends you for a project, a fellow entrepreneur offers a partnership. So invest time in building and maintaining relationships. Be sincerely interested in others, ask questions, listen actively, and find common ground. People tend to support and remember those who make them feel seen and valued. Mentorship is another goldmine. Finding a mentor, someone who has experience in the area you want to succeed in, can save you from pitfalls and provide valuable guidance. Don't be afraid to reach out to someone you admire. Often people are surprisingly willing to share advice if approached respectfully. Prepare thoughtful questions and be clear about what you're seeking, whether it's a one-time conversation or an ongoing mentorship. Remember that mentorship can be direct or indirect. Not everyone will have a personal mentor, but you can mentor yourself by proxy through books, talks, and biographies of great individuals. As Jim Rohn advised, find a few people who have what you want, study what they do, and then do it. If you can't talk to them, read their words or listen to their speeches, learn from their trials and triumphs. Teamwork and collaboration extend the principle of mastermind to actually executing projects. In many cases, achieving big goals will involve working with others, co-workers, business partners, family members, or community groups. Thriving in these scenarios means developing good communication skills, empathy, and the ability to work towards a shared vision. Value the diversity of skills and perspectives that a team offers. Leadership is often tested here. Even if you're not formally the leader, you can practice being a leader in your own domain by taking responsibility, encouraging others, and keeping a solution-focused attitude. Napoleon Hill's teamwork principle highlights harmonious cooperation. This means actively resolving conflicts and keeping relationships healthy. Don't let ego or petty disagreements derail a collective effort. Learn to handle conflicts constructively. Address issues directly but kindly. Focus on problem-solving rather than blame, and seek win-win outcomes. By nurturing a strong network, learning from mentors, and collaborating effectively with others, your external actions become far more impactful. You essentially multiply your efforts through the power of synergy and shared wisdom. No one achieves anything great completely alone, and realizing that is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. Leverage the strength of connection and remember to also give in those relationships, not just take. Be the one who offers help, who celebrates others' successes, and who gives credit where it's due. This generous approach attracts goodwill and a solid reputation. Goal setting and execution. On a very practical level, thriving externally means being able to set clear goals and effectively execute plans to achieve them. While this may sound basic, it's astounding how often people skip this step and end up with vague ambitions that never materialize. A well-defined goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, the classic SMART criteria. For example, instead of saying, "I want to get fit," a specific goal would be, "I will run a 5K race by October," or "I will lose 15 pounds in 3 months." Specificity sharpens your focus and allows you to track progress. Once goals are set, Create a plan by breaking them into smaller milestones. If your goal is a year out, where should you be in 6 months, in 1 month, this week, today? This way, you translate long-term vision into immediate actionable steps. Execution is where many falter. Procrastination, distractions, or fear can impede taking action. This is where all the prior work on mindset and habits comes to bear, helping you push through. One useful technique is to schedule your actions. If you've decided that to reach your goal you need to, say, work on a skill for 1 hour a day, put that hour in your daily schedule as if it were an important meeting. Treat commitments to your personal goals with the same respect you would treat commitments to others. Also, anticipate obstacles and have contingency plans. If you plan to jog every morning but it rains one day, have a home workout as backup so you don't break the chain. Review your goals regularly. Daily, small reviews of tasks and a larger weekly or monthly review of overall progress keeps you accountable and allows you to adjust plans if needed. Remember to celebrate small wins along the way. This boosts motivation and makes the journey enjoyable. External success is often a game of consistency and persistence, powered by good planning. As you achieve goals, set new ones. This doesn't mean you're never satisfied, rather, it keeps you growing. However, also know when to pause and appreciate how far you've come. In external action, it's easy to be so future-focused that you forget to savor the present. Balance drive with mindfulness, work hard toward the future, but also live each day fully. Delivering value and building legacy. Finally, let's talk about the impact of your external actions. True success leaves the world a bit better than it was. Whether that's through a product you create, the people you help, art you bring into being, or children you raise. Success amplifies when it is shared. Make it a principle in your external efforts to deliver value in whatever you do. If you're an employee, aim not just to meet your job description, but to genuinely help your company or colleagues succeed, echoing Napoleon Hill's "going the extra mile" principle. If you run a business, focus on solving your customers' problems and exceeding their expectations. If you're pursuing a personal passion, consider how sharing it might inspire or assist others. This outward focus on value does two wonderful things. It enhances your reputation. People recognize and appreciate someone who consistently gives their best. And it brings a sense of fulfillment knowing that your success isn't in a vacuum. It matters to others. Jim Rohn put it as, "Service to many leads to greatness." Along with value, think about legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? This doesn't have to be grandiose like having your name in history books. It could be as simple as, "She was someone who always helped those in need," or "He was a great mentor to young engineers," or "They brought joy to those around them." Legacy is essentially the cumulative effect of how you live and act over time. When you act with integrity, kindness, and purpose consistently, you build a legacy without needing to chase it directly. In practical terms, building a positive legacy might involve mentoring others as you advance in your field, contributing to your community through volunteer work or charity, or creating something that outlasts you, like writing a book, starting a foundation, or even just imparting your values to your family. This perspective ensures that your external actions aren't just about immediate gains, but also about long-term significance. It's the highest level of external success, not just achieving, but inspiring, not just taking, but giving. Thriving in your environment ultimately comes down to this. Engage fully with the world around you. Use the support and knowledge available through people and resources. Create conditions that uplift you. Plan and work diligently. And aim to leave a positive mark. When your inner world and outer actions are in harmony, you become a force of nature, capable of weathering storms, scaling mountains, and lighting the way for others, all at the same time. We've now journeyed through the core principles, mindset, behavior, inner work, and external action, covering the spectrum from the seed of an idea within your mind to the fruits of success in the world. It's a lot to digest, but remember, you don't have to tackle everything at once. Life is generous in that it gives us time and experience to gradually integrate these lessons. As we move to the conclusion, let's reflect on how to begin applying what resonates most with you and keeping the spirit of growth alive for the long run. Conclusion: embracing the journey ahead. Success and personal growth are not static targets. They are a continuous journey, a lifelong adventure of becoming. In this closing section, let's take a step back and reflect on the path we've outlined, and more importantly, on your own path forward. You've absorbed a wide range of insights, from timeless principles to practical habits, from inner psychology to external strategy. Now, the key is to translate insight into action and experience. Remember that every big journey begins with a single step. What will your next step be? It might be a modest one. Getting up 30 minutes earlier to have quiet time for planning your day, or reaching out to someone who inspires you, or writing down your top 3 goals. It could be internal, like committing to pause and breathe when you feel stress, or finally, forgiving yourself for a past mistake, freeing up energy to move forward. No matter how small it seems, if it's a step toward growth, it is significant, as the Chinese proverb says, "The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So plant that seed today. Stay persistent and patient." We've discussed the power of persistence and the need for patience in various ways. It's worth reiterating, change doesn't happen overnight, and that's okay. Trust the process of growth. If you implement even a few of the ideas here consistently, you will start seeing changes in your attitude, in your productivity, in your results, and in how you feel about your life. Some days will be tough. You might stumble. You might even feel like you're moving backward at times. But recall the image of the arrow. Sometimes you have to pull it backward to build up the momentum to launch it forward. Your setbacks can be setups for a comeback, as long as you learn and keep going. On those difficult days, revisit the core principles. Remind yourself of your purpose, your why, reignite your belief, and reach out to your support network or mentors for encouragement. Every challenge faced is a story to someday tell about how you overcame. In the words of Napoleon Hill, every adversity, every failure, every heartbreak carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Believe that, and you will find the strength to persevere. Cultivate gratitude and celebrate growth. As you strive for success, don't fall into the trap of always chasing the next thing without appreciating what you have and how far you've come. Gratitude is a powerful fuel for a meaningful life. It keeps you grounded and content even as you aim higher. Take time regularly, even daily, to acknowledge the good in your life, the lessons learned, the people who support you, the progress, however small, you've made. This positive reflection will keep you motivated and joyful. Likewise, celebrate your growth. Too often we wait until the big goal is achieved to celebrate, but every milestone deserves recognition. Did you finish that online course? Treat yourself to something enjoyable? Did you handle a conflict at work with more grace than you would have last year? Give yourself a pat on the back for that personal growth. By reinforcing these positives, you train your brain to recognize success not just as a far-off event, but as a daily state of being. Keep balancing inner and outer success. We've journeyed through inner work and external action both, and the ultimate message is that true success requires a harmony of the two. Continue to nurture your mindset and emotional well-being even as you push for external achievements. If ever you find yourself achieving external wins, but feeling empty or anxious inside, take that as a sign to pause and do some inner work. Perhaps you need to realign with your values or address burnout. Conversely, if you've been introspecting a lot but feel stagnant in life, it may be time to set a bold external goal to challenge yourself. Regularly calibrate this balance. Think of it like rowing a boat with two oars. One oar is inner growth, the other is outer action. If you only row with one, you'll just go in circles. Use both, and you'll move forward smoothly. Empower others as you rise. Success and growth are even sweeter when shared. As you apply these principles and start seeing positive changes, you will inevitably become a source of inspiration to people around you, whether that's your family, friends, colleagues, or community. Embrace that role humbly. Sometimes the best way to solidify your own learning is to teach or support someone else. If a friend is struggling, share something you've learned on this journey. If your team at work needs a boost, practice those leadership and teamwork principles to lift them up. By empowering others, you reinforce your own knowledge and contribute to a cycle of success that extends beyond just you. It also builds a legacy you can be proud of, knowing that your growth sparked growth in others. As we conclude this audiobook-style exploration, think of it not as an ending, but as a beginning. The next chapters of your success story are yours to write. You hold the pen, and you can choose the plot twists. You've got a backpack full of tools now, core values to guide you, a mindset primed for growth, habits and behaviors to practice, self-awareness to illuminate your path, and strategies to engage the world. Your journey will be unique. There will be surprises and detours, but that's what makes it your story and not anyone else's. Embrace it all, the highs, the lessons in the lows, the people met, and the person you become through it. In the spirit of the thought leaders who inspired this work, carry these final thoughts with you. From Napoleon Hill, remember that all achievement begins with a burning desire and a clear purpose. From Carl Jung, know that the depth of your inner work will elevate the height of your success. The more you understand and become yourself, the more solid and meaningful your achievements will be. From Jim Rohn, take to heart that success is not something you chase, but something you attract by the person you become. Become that person, starting today. Now, as you step back into your life, imagine yourself standing at the trailhead of a beautiful journey. The sun is rising, lighting up the path ahead, just enough for you to take the next few steps. You carry wisdom in your pocket and determination in your heart. The air is fresh with possibility. Take that next step forward with